Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast,
I'm Frank.
and I'm Dan.
Coming up today, we're going to talk about the age of the Earth.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you guys know this, but there is some question as to how old this Earth of ours is. Depends on who you ask.
No, but the problem is neither side is really questioning. Both sides know.
That's true.
The people who say that it's young, they know it's young. They've got. I watched some videos on the YouTube,
You did.
and these, I have to tell you, they are confident that they are right.
It's true.
It's quite fascinating.
It's true. But they're not the only ones out there making claims.
I know.
It's tricky. We'll discuss it. We'll discuss it. I'm sorry if my voice doesn't sound like my normal
100%.
Dan voice. I'm getting over a cold.
Oh, poor Dan. Poor Dan. Everybody.
It happens, people.
Oh,
It happens.
wish Dan well, everyone.
Thanks, you guys. With Frank as your ringleader, I appreciate the well wishes.
Can I make an announcement?
Oh, sure, announce away.
Of sorts. Hey, so I've been making a little film. I've talked about how busy I am, and we're running a little Kickstarter campaign for it. And so I'm going to put the link up. If anybody out there wants to help out, the film's called Pam and Gay Ghost. It's about a woman who is living in an apartment with a gay ghost.
Yeah,
And she's being haunted.
she's being haunted.
And so she has to try to get him out of the apartment.
Ooh.
So she hires an exorcist.
That's
So
good.
it's right up. You're a bunch of atheists. It's probably right up your alley.
Yeah.
So
Next,
with all
you'll have
this
to
ghost talk
you'll
and
have to
everything.
make Pam and Gay God. Our listeners love Gay God.
Yeah, that's true.
Who doesn't love Gay God?
So, anyways, we'll put that up on the Facebook page.
Dear Heavenly Father, look, I'm not going to listen to anything you have to say until you change those shoes, Pam. We can chat, but you need to get the Crocs off before I'm going to listen to you.
Not far off, but just a gay ghost.
Just a
in
ghost.
in my little thing.
All
So, yeah,
right.
so if anybody's interested in helping, just check out the Facebook page and you'll see it.
So
thank you.
I've just
Thank you, Dan,
yes,
for
please,
letting me have that moment.
Please support Frank's film. I did just delight myself though by the prospect of the thought that God doesn't talk to people wearing Crocs. That's
funny
my
idea.
new theory on God. If he's out there,
No, to be honest though, I think God talks to the people who have the Crocs.
well, it does.
Have you looked at the believers recently?
I think
their taste.
the people who most claim that God talks to them are probably wearing Crocs right now.
Yeah, I think
true.
so. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take us, whisk us away to Iran,
Ooh, Iran.
the People's Republic of Iran.
It's People's Republic?
No,
that's not.
That's not what it's called
That's
at
not
all.
at all what it's called.
No, that's the opposite of what
It's
they
the
are.
Islamic Republic. isn't
Yes,
it? Or
it's
something
it's the Allah's Republic of Iran. Some teens got in some serious trouble.
Teenagers?
Teenagers.
Uh-oh.
They were all arrested for a YouTube video. They
Really?
made a YouTube video.
Oh, no. Were they scantily clad?
They were not, although the women were not in headscarves of any kind.
Did they denounce the regime?
They did something worse than that.
Oh, no.
They danced to Pharrell Williams' song Happy.
Shut the fuck
They were happy.
This is happening everywhere. Everybody's making this little video.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they almost should be arrested just based on the fact that that's really cliche to do at this point.
For unoriginality.
Right, exactly.
The regime is tired of their unoriginality.
Right. No, they were 3 men and 3 women dancing to the song up on a rooftop, and then I think in a little apartment or
How
something.
dare they?
It garnered over 30,000 views before it was taken down, but copies were quickly re-uploaded.
Oh my god!
Using the hashtag free the hashtag has popped up, free happy Iranians. It was the Iranians were not happy. The authorities called it a vulgar clip, which hurt public chastity.
I don't understand at all.
I don't know
How
either.
is it vulgar? They're happy and they're dancing.
Right.
Are you not allowed to do?
I'm pretty
either of
sure.
those things?
I'm pretty sure this is the same plot as Footloose, isn't it?
For a whole country.
It's a whole country of the Footloose town. Anyway,
Are they going to play chicken on? What would they? Not tractors.
yeah, right.
What would they play chicken on?
Chickens.
They just ride.
They
on the
ride
backs
it.
of
They ride
chickens.
on the backs of chickens. It's a literal game of chicken.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
Apparently, the all of the kids are free now except the director.
Oh, there's the 2 charges against him
Yeah,
or her, perhaps.
yeah, probably him. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, yeah, it's a problem. If you're in Iran, no happiness for you.
No.
Cut it out, you crazy kids.
Yeah. If you're in Iran, you'll get arrested.
You'll get arrested
Well,
in Iran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyways.
Anyway. So there you go. No happy.
Don't be happy in Iran, people.
Can they do a video of themselves dancing sadly to a sad song? Would they be okay then?
Well, we need that big breakout single of the year.
Yeah.
That's about being sad.
Right. Beyonce's answer to Pharrell, which is just called Miserable. And everybody
You
just
have to
sort of
sulk. You don't
have to
dance.
you mope.
Yeah, you mope around.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got no beat. It's vaguely Gregorian chant in its methodology.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There's just bagpipes in the background.
wow, it's mournful. No, well, now you've made me sad.
All right. So let's get to something a little bit more chipper.
Yeah, please do.
There's a problem in this world, Dan.
That doesn't sound chipper.
Well, no, but there's a solution.
Oh, good.
So that's where it gets
All right,
chipper.
cool.
But there's a problem in this world.
What is that?
Well, it's there's just a plethora of social media sites out
Sure.
there. Social media sites out
Sure.
there, right? Then you got your Facebooks and your Twitters and your Pinterests and your what have yous, right?
The MyFace,
The MySpace,
all of
the
the things.
Friendsters.
Sure.
Yes.
Grinder.
You have Grindr out there. Well, the problem is Christians just don't have a place for them for their social networking.
Oh no.
Because they can't do it. They can't be expected to socially network where everybody else is socially networking, right?
Oh no.
That
That would be unchristian.
yeah. And so thank God that that Dean Jones, a 35-year-old in London, has put together a substitute for Pinterest called Godinterest.
Well, okay. First off, right out the chute, I'm going to say, great name,
Yeah,
great job.
Godinterest.
Got interest. I got interest in that.
Yeah, Godinterest. Yeah, they even stole the Pinterest logo. Basically,
Did they?
it's red scrawly on white, but it's just. I was inspired. I got Godinterest, and was truly inspired. I'm looking at their
good.
trending page right now, and there's a picture of Jesus right at the top. Jesus is trending right now.
Oh, good.
on Godinterest.
Oh, wow.
That's
amazing.
Is important. Faith, Hope, and Charity
Are trending.
are also trending.
Okay.
There's this little meme that says, "I'm not afraid of tomorrow because I know God is already there."
Sure.
That's been trending for a while now.
I'm not afraid of tomorrow because God is already there. That sounds terrible.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
That's the worst.
I know, but he's already there. There's a search engine that looks like Yahoo, but it's Yahweh. That's very nice.
That's cute.
And people are they're I don't know what the verb is for this, because obviously you pin it
Right.
with Pinterest, right?
right.
Maybe you got in.
You
got it.
Got it.
Then
I got it.
you I don't know what you would do.
Yeah, they're
they
really
didn't think that one through.
the whole
very
thing
well.
falls apart when you look for the verb form.
Yeah, I got interested in
I
it.
feel like we should exhort our listeners to spam them and see if we can get some hashtag, something trending on this site. I feel like we should see if we can get something trending on the site.
I just think it's just so amazing that Jesus has trended
on the God site. It's like, how did they get that to happen?
I don't know.
How did they even figure that out?
I don't know. Let's see what's top rated. I'm going to click on top rated. Oh, I'm not alone. God is always with me. A nice little meme there. No matter who is president, Jesus is king.
Oh yeah.
But what if you live in a kingdom?
Well, then you've got a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got King.
No matter who is king,
Abdullah,
Jesus is king,
and Jesus is King of Kings. He's the King of Kings.
Shit!
He wins.
Yeah, he won.
He wins.
That's how it works. I forgot.
Let's just come up with a phrase, and if it happens to trend on that site, then we'll know that our listeners have time on their hands.
And what's the phrase, Dan? What's the meme?
I don't know.
Should we put a meme on our Facebook page this week, and then we'll try to get it to hit?
Yeah. Maybe that's what we'll do.
What we'll do.
So if you check the Facebook page, at some point, there will be a photo that pops up that you should repost into God Interest.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that there's a link there as well.
Yeah.
And then we'll and then we'll get that going. And I don't know. Maybe you guys can post some stuff on Facebook if you've got ideas for what it should be.
Yeah. Okay.
Just
that's a good call.
It should be something. I'm thinking it should be something that could look like it might be legit, but isn't.
It needs to be somebody in some sort of state of ecstasy, right? Running through a field with some kind of little caption about Jeebus. Yeah, so just look for it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Okay, cool.
I take us to Khartoum, Sudan.
Cartoon, Sudan?
No. Khartoum.
Khartoum.
Yeah. I think that's the capital city, isn't it? I don't know.
Okay.
It's a city.
In Sudan.
Sudan.
Where is Sudan?
In Africa.
Could you be more specific?
Eastern Africa. Northeastern Africa. It's right north of South Sudan, as a matter of fact.
Oh, that's where they put it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's good.
It's good.
Okay.
Sudan. So, a woman in Sudan is raising the hackles of Christians over here, or rather, she's not.
How?
Here's what's happening. So, I mean, this is actually I am outraged by this as well. The story is that a Sudanese woman. She married a Christian man, a man who is originally Sudanese but is now an American citizen.
Oh, okay.
And she married him. He's Christian though, and she has been accused of apostasy from Islam and sentenced to death.
Wow.
Now it gets worse. She's pregnant right now.
Oh,
so she has to wait till she has her baby, nurse her baby, and then theoretically be put to death.
Right, because that's how Muhammad did it.
Right, or whatever.
Right.
So that's what's going on. She's 26 years old, 8 months pregnant. The kicker of this is that she was born to a Muslim father. But her mother was Orthodox Christian, and she claims that she's been Christian the whole time. Oh. So that's some bullshit right there. This apostasy claim may not even be legit but her father was Muslim, so there's this whole that makes you Muslim and you're just a girl, so you don't get to choose things. That's what your dad's for, and all this stuff.
What?
So yeah, I mean, obviously this is flagrantly awful. I mean, it's in line with what Islam says. Right. Islam says that apostates need to be put to death. If you leave Islam, then your punishment is death. But I'm pretty sure that in the world, you're not allowed to really follow through on that. Like in the real world, if you're not in a country like Sudan, which is a nightmare.
Right. Almost is it actually a functioning country again? Because I know it was on the failed state list.
Anyway, so this Maryam Ibrahim is in some trouble. We don't know. I mean, as of right now, it looks like she's going to be murdered. The interesting part is that while I take up her cause as much as the next guy, that is unless the next guy is a United States Christian, because while they wouldn't give a shit if this woman was being treated this way as an atheist, they are up in arms. Because this shit has happened before to non-believers. There are several non-believers out there that Amnesty International is trying to save and whatever, because they're under the same sentence. But boy, you fuck with a Christian, and suddenly we're into the narrative of like the world is oppressing Christians.
You can't let that happen. Never.
Oh my gosh.
Never.
No. So like CBS News is their headline is "Pregnant Woman Sentenced to Death Over Her Christian Faith," and Fox News is "International Outrage Grows for Sudanese Woman Sentenced to Death for Apostasy."
Wow.
The thing is, they're right. This is horrific. This is not acceptable.
Well, right.
So
clearly,
I love that right now there's a story that has captured the imagination of American Christians, and they're on the correct side of the story.
Right.
And it lines up with how we feel.
But if it was a gay man being put to death in what
In Sudan.
Is it also Sudan? No,
you're talking about in
I'm thinking of a specific country.
Zimbabwe.
Is it Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In Zimbabwe. Yeah. So if it was that, they might be a little more mum. They might be a little less outraged.
No.
What's fun?
Considering that they're the ones who helped pass that stupid law, then
Right.
I don't think they're going to be that outraged at all.
No. They might show slightly less
So,
concern.
wait, Dan.
What?
Are you accusing Christians of hypocrisy?
I might be a little.
Is that the story here? Is hypocrisy?
It's a story. It's part of a story.
Shut up. Oh,
Anyway, there you go. Stuff's happening.
Well, all right. Well, I want to come to Utah for a story. There's recently, if you've been following at all, sort of the execution stories of recent months. You probably heard about the botched lethal injection last month in Oklahoma.
Was it totally botched? I mean, the guy died.
No, this is the one where was it Oklahoma or Ohio?
It was Oklahoma where they gave him the lethal injection, and then like he woke up and everything went really, really badly. But in the end, the outcome was correct.
Okay.
He did die.
Because there was another one where and I think it might have been the one in Ohio. But nonetheless.
But it was horrific.
Where the person actually, they stopped it, and now the person's still sitting on death row.
Right.
They don't know what to do.
Right. Well, there were two in Oklahoma, and the first one went through, and the second one.
Oh, okay.
They were like,
is that what it was?
Maybe we're not going to try this again.
Okay. However it all went down, there
Right.
was a botched one.
Yes.
And it was bad. It was ugly. And, this all comes down to the fact that the supply of the drug that has been used traditionally for this in recent years in this country has run out because the European supplier refuses to sell it to any sort of questionable American destination.
Yeah, Europeans are not
any of our state governments, because
Right.
they'll put people to death.
Right. European people are not overly fond of the death penalty as a rule, as a general rule.
Those companies are willing to kind of get in the way of it. So
Right.
they're trying, these states that still do lethal injection as an execution method are trying new cocktails.
Yeah.
And there's a lawmaker here in Utah where, Utah also has legal execution.
Right.
He is suggesting that we don't even worry about the cocktail, that we just 100% bring back the firing squad as the way that we do it. Because, there was actually a guy just a couple years ago who was put to death by firing squad because he chose it
Right. There were
prior
options.
to the change in the law.
Right.
Like any new person, any new case where the person is being put to death in the state of Utah, according to the law right now, the firing squad is no longer an option.
Right.
But anybody who was not put to death, but was sentenced to be put to death prior to the cutoff date, they could still
Choose
put to death by. I'm having a really tough time with this.
You are.
But nonetheless, so what ends up happening now is we have a few people on death row, and we need a way to put them to death.
Yeah.
That is, quote unquote, humane.
Right. Because it's really important that we be humane when we murder people. You know, I'm all for the firing squad. I know that I'm in the minority because the thing is that people think it and they think correctly that it's pretty horrific. You know,
We're okay.
bullets fired at people.
Somebody's being put to death.
Right.
It's horrific.
That's horrific, period. I think people have an easier time, people who are thinking about executions, and that's what this is about. This is not about the guy who's being killed. This is about the people who have to think, the citizens who are forced, those poor souls, to think about the fact that someone's being put to death. And they don't want to, they want to think about it in medical terms. It's a guy on a table slowly drifting into nothingness.
Right.
But that's not what this is.
Right.
And I say, and for me, and I've said it before on the show, I don't find that a comforting thought. I don't find the drugs a comforting thought. Being shot to me is actually less horrific.
What about the gas chamber? Didn't we have a gas chamber at one point?
I don't know if we did here, but I mean that
Cyanide tablet dropped into a thing. And the
I think it's like super painful.
Is it awful?
Yeah, it's like really
bad. What about like the piston thing?
The Anton Chigurh?
Yeah.
The No Country for Old Men thing?
Why not?
It's how we kill our cows.
It's how we kill cows.
If it's good enough for a cow.
Why not use that? I mean, it would be quick and effective.
It would be.
And like, what's the...
Yeah.
And the person's gone.
Yeah. I actually have no problem with that. The faster you can get them killed, to my mind, the more humane it is.
If you live in a place... If the reality is... Death penalty.
Death penalty. If we have to accept that there's going to be a death penalty,
right?
Which I don't think we do. I heard an interesting interview the other day with a guy who's up in arms about how we do it because he believes he believes in punishment, which is the thing that I don't believe in.
Right.
I don't think the punishment for adults is a useful concept, but he believes in punishment, and he believes that I mean, he was basically outraged because he felt that lethal injection was basically turned what should be a punishment for a horrific crime into the same death that he watched his father go through in hospice care.
Oh my God.
Just slipping away on a medical table sort of thing. He just did not. He wanted it to look and feel like punishment.
So what does he want?
So bring back
Death
the fire,
1,000 cuts. I mean,
bring back the firing squad or whatever, and let a family member of the victim take the first shot if they want to. He literally said that.
Dear God.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to live in that society.
He's going to Wild Wild West times on that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, return of the firing squad feels like the Wild West.
Yeah, it does. It does. But this is a professor of like political science or something. Like he's not just some schmo, but he believes in punishment. That's a big conversation for another time, I think. I'm on record as saying that if I were to be executed, I'd want the guillotine.
Well, yeah, but that's not an option.
It should be. I insist on it. I love the guillotine. It's great. Anyway.
Okay.
We'll move on.
Well, cool.
In the United States, people go to church, but not as much as they say they go to church.
Okay.
This is there's a new poll came out, and that was released by a survey released by the Public Religion Research Institute. And it was an interesting thing. They were presented at the American Association for Public Opinion Research. And here's basically what they did. They called a bunch of people and asked them about their church attendance.
Okay.
And then they and sort of did a full thing. And then they did an online survey asking people about their church attendance. A totally anonymous online survey.
Okay.
Turns out if you're talking to somebody, you tell them you go to church more than you actually do.
So, wait a second. So the online thing, what did it show?
On the phone, 36% of Americans report attending religious services weekly or more, while 30% say they seldom or never go. Online, only 31% of people said they attended church at least weekly, and 43% admitted they seldom or never go.
What?
That's a 13% jump.
People are liars.
They're just liars. It's hard to actually say out loud,
Yeah.
I don't go to church.
Well, because I guess you don't know who the person on the other end of the line is.
It's your pastor.
Well, but no, it's even a stranger who's asking that question. Well, what this person might judge me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's sort of because they feel like they should be going to church,
Right, exactly. Yeah. So there you go.
That's
They're
interesting.
they're liars.
But there's a good takeaway here as well. So 1/3, is that what it was? 31% actually go to church? Is that what the...
yeah. Well, indeed, 31% say they attend church at least weekly.
Americans.
Of Americans.
It's that high?
Yeah.
Boy, that's unfortunate. Ugh.
I'll tell you this. Here's an interesting thing. 3 groups were most likely to inflate their attendance. White mainline Protestants. On the phone, 29% say they don't go to church. Online, that number jumps to 45%.
Oh, my God.
Catholics are similar. They start on the phone, 15% say they don't go to church. Online, 33%.
Okay.
Adults ages 18 to 29, who we know are all liars anyway.
Right.
Because we've all been in our 20s before.
Right, okay.
On the phone, 31%. Online, 49%.
Oh, my God. So those were the 3 groups?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like adults ages 18 to 29 secretly think that their parents are having somebody call them. Just to check up on them.
Well, they're not really their own people yet.
Right.
At that age, right?
Yeah, they're at college, and
up to what age 26, you could still be on your parents' insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you don't want to piss those people off.
Mm-mm.
It's your insurance.
They're probably they might be paying for your room and board while you're at school or something.
Yeah.
You can't piss them
You can't
off.
risk that at all.
No.
Even though you've got it all figured out.
Yeah. Oh, you know everything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to tell the story of a school with a little. They were having their. It's not a prom, but it was a. It's the 8th graders' graduation dance. It's a Catholic school, and they had an Oscars night theme.
Oh, fun!
Okay. So a red carpet and Oscars. I don't.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know what an Oscars night theme
Celebrities.
would be. Celebrities.
Paparazzi.
Well, they chose a celebrity for the invite.
Oh.
And they chose one of the more popular recent hosts to put onto the invite. One, Ms. Ellen DeGeneres. Who, of course, is an out and proud lesbian.
Is gay as a Mayday.
Well,
that is amazing.
So, but the thing, this really speaks volumes to Ellen and where our society is at the moment.
Everyone loves Ellen.
Everyone loves Ellen.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are. You love Ellen.
It's
great.
If you
It's
spend
a fun show.
If you spend 50% of your day decrying the gays, you still love Ellen.
Guaranteed. Fred Phelps
Loved Ellen.
went home and watched Ellen.
He's like, oh, Ellen's on. I shouldn't be watching this. That was his guilty pleasure. That and autoerotic
Actual,
asphyxiation.
real guilty pleasure.
Right, yes.
He actually felt guilt after watching Ellen.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the school principal has had to apologize for letting this slip through somehow. Because clearly we would only ever want to put a role model on any kind of publication that leaves the school.
There's nothing role model-y
There's
about
nothing.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Nothing.
Have you seen all the times that she scares her guests? She likes to jump out and startle them.
Oh, I know.
How is that a role model?
Well, here's what she says. She sent out an email to all the parents. She says, a role model, as defined by Webster's Dictionary, is a person who is unusually effective or inspiring in some in some social role, job, position, etc. This does not describe her, meaning Ellen DeGeneres, at all. We work so hard to be good role models, and then I go and do something stupid, is what she says.
Oh, my God.
So she has called for all of the invitations to be returned. I need every single invitation returned, and I will well,
burn
bless
them.
you.
It's got to be burn them.
No, I will personally destroy them.
Oh, okay. Sorry about the coughing.
Yes, indeed. Once again, I'm very sorry for the lack of forethought. I look forward to receiving the old invitations and distributing new ones. So this, there were some unhappy parents, clearly.
Well, I know.
But this
I would
is
be
not
furious.
the first time that a Catholic school has had a little thing with Ellen.
Yeah.
Last year, 11-year-old Caroline Pla appeared on the show after starting a petition to let girls play at the Archdiocese of Philadelphia's Catholic Youth Organization Football League.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
There are so many layers of that. That's an onion you can just keep peeling. Holy crap.
And then earlier this year, staff and students at a Buffalo area Catholic school protesting the school's planned closure wrote to Ellen in a bid to have the show air their fight.
That's so funny.
So Catholics turning
they're
the biggest lesbian on TV.
They're just literally not even thinking about it.
They're not.
They're just
because
they're just like, Ellen is pure good in the universe.
And she kind of is.
And it's
Or at least that's how she uses her show.
It's like they're sitting around going, how are we going to advance our cause? You know who likes causes?
Ellen.
Oh, and I love her. She's so great. Her girlfriend's so pretty.
Yeah. Oh, and I love it when she comes out and she dances.
Oh, the dancing is fantastic. Everything's great. She'll want to help.
Yeah, she'll have us on. She'll be funny.
I just love the idea of like Ellen having to sit around and go, do I help a Catholic? Like,
I think the question is absolutely yes. Her show is not about that.
No.
Her show is it's just all positive.
Yeah.
And if she can take up a cause, that's what she does.
Yeah.
So,
but she has many causes vying for her attention.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think the fact of a cause being, like if it's between a Catholic cause and a non-Catholic cause and they're both worthy, she's gonna go non-Catholic.
I can't. I have no clue.
Okay,
I cannot speak to that, Dan.
That's true.
But I'm sure that if a Westboro Baptist cause versus another cause came up,
yes,
I think we know who she would pick.
Indeed.
It's kids. That's why she doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's kids fighting for their school.
Well, and in the end, like the more kids that love Ellen, the more future either non-Catholics or
just people who are fine with,
or people who are okay with gays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happen.
And it's clearly already happened. The principal of a Catholic school didn't even think it through.
Just thought, oh, Ellen, she's perfect. We can't go with Seth MacFarlane.
No.
Wasn't he one
hateful.
of? Yeah, he's hateful. He's dirty. He did that old booby song.
No,
can't do that.
He's
Ellen, she's perfect.
Ellen,
everything's great about her.
Wouldn't they go Billy Crystal?
These kids have never even heard of Billy Crystal. That's what's amazing. We could do Whoopi Goldberg, but oh no, we can't do Whoopi because she seems a little gay too. She's not.
She went to a Catholic school, though,
Did
didn't
she? Oh, there you go. So you get your Whoopi. Billy Crystal's Jewish. That's
tricky, but easier.
But okay.
That's a much easier sell.
You remember when wasn't there the three of them and Robin Williams? Didn't they all
we
host
can't
it?
Robin Williams on.
Oh, he's clean now.
No. it's just Robin Williams.
He was Popeye.
He was, and he was Mork.
It was Mork.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And the problem is he was Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, yeah, he's gay.
No, but he's willing to dress up as a woman.
We don't approve.
We
of
don't
that.
condone that behavior.
Yeah, we don't
At all.
It's the last thing we need our kids doing.
He played a liar in that movie.
Yeah.
That's not a good role model.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
All right.
Well, we're going to do things a little differently right now.
Yeah.
Let's launch into some emails real quick.
Yeah, let's get to that.
We've got a few of them. Michael wrote to us and said, unless somehow I missed it, I don't believe I've heard you mention the Tyler Glenn story, the Neon Trees singer who is Mormon and recently came out as gay. I wondered if you had any thoughts. Do you think he'll be ostracized, or could it perhaps ultimately soften the Mormon view as someone who is successful and famous and loved by the younger Mormon crowd, as a result, refuses to hide who he is in fear of his faith?
Interesting.
It's a question. It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I did see it. We saw it in the news.
Yeah.
But I'm an old guy, so I had never heard of the Neon Trees. But apparently they are a popular band with the youngsters. And this guy...
They play popular music.
They
Pop.
The pop...
They play pop music.
I don't know what kind of music it is. I think it's like neo-punk stuff.
I don't know what it is. I have no clue what it is.
You're totally old, too.
Well, I don't listen to that kind of music.
Anyway, here's the thing about Mormons that I will say. They love a Mormon celebrity.
They do, but a gay one makes it difficult.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. That's what's great about it. He's sticking with Mormonism. He's staying on the bandwagon.
'Cause I bet you young Mormons still to this day know who Gordon Jump is.
No.
You don't think so?
No, they don't.
What?
I mean,
WKRP in Cincinnati?
no, they don't know who that is.
They don't know who that is?
No.
Oh, anyways. But you're right. Mormons, it just validates them so much. But but Mitt Romney, do you think that kind of changed it a little bit? I mean, they've had sort of the creme de la creme of national celebrity validation
No, they need
type
hypness.
stuff.
They need the hypness. All they have right now is Donnie and Marie and the guy from The Killers.
Oh, yeah, and that's not doing much for them.
No. So this, I think this brings in the hip, brings in the pop. It's awesome for them.
Huh.
And I think they love the narrative of a gay man who's choosing to be Mormon still. They love that.
The young ones do.
Oh, all of them. The
old ones do?
Oh, yeah, because the Mormon Church has been saying for the longest time, well, not for the longest time, for the last few years, that it's okay to have same-sex attraction, to be afflicted with same-sex attraction, as long as you don't act on it. And here we have a beautiful, shining example of someone who's doing just that. I think it bolsters all of their faith until he finally can't take it anymore.
Well, yeah, because
he's a rock star. He's going to have dick thrown at him left and right. He's going to succumb.
Clearly going to happen. What's his name?
Tyler Glenn.
Okay, I'm going to look.
The Neon Trees.
Okay. Let's see what this is all about.
Yeah, look him up. He's a cutie.
He might get a little bit of attention.
He's a pop. He's got money. He's going to get attention.
Yeah.
And I think he's cute.
Huh.
Anyway.
I don't know what that is. Alternative rock band.
Okay.
What Wikipedia calls it.
There you go.
Okay.
Alt rock.
That's fine.
I'm going to call it alt rock so I sound hipper.
I don't know that just did that for you.
I don't think it did.
No.
I don't think I was successful just then.
Okay. All right.
Les wrote in to us and said, hey guys, love the show. Couple points about your commentary on Greece versus Galloway. This is the Supreme Court case that sort of blew our minds. First, you called Greece a small town. Not so. It's one of the biggest suburbs of Rochester, and there are almost 100,000 people living in Greece. In New York, they carve up the counties into towns, just like all states. Into towns, just like all states are carved into counties. So a town in New York isn't what you think of as a town out west. Second, you got the history of the case wrong. Galloway and Stevens lost the case in the federal district court in 2010. They won on appeals in the federal court, but the town appealed to the Supreme Court where they won. Okay. So, yeah, we got it wrong a little bit. Thanks for the corrections there, Les.
Okay. Thank you.
Frank and Dan, it's Miranda, longtime listener, recent out-of-the-closet lesbian and atheist. Congratulations on both, Miranda. Anyway, I was listening to one of your most recent episodes, The Opposite Bible, to your most recent episode, and you brought up the topic of racism in the Mormon Church. Well, I have a fun little story for you. I lived in a rural area where there were a lot of white people, some black people, and then my family. My family is mixed race, with my father being white and my mother being half Indian, as in from India. So while my father and sister look picture-perfect Caucasian, my brother and I look like our mother, year-round slight brown tint to our skin, dark, wavy hair, and, quote, not quite white facial features. I'm frequently mistaken for Greek, Hispanic, or part Middle Eastern. Miranda, in the film industry, you're what's known as ethnic, just so that you know. So one day, some young Mormon missionaries came and knocking on our door. My father answered it, and us kids were close behind him. After attempting to give my dad the usual conversion spiel, one of the missionaries took a look at us, turned to my father, and said, "Don't worry, sir. If you convert to Mormonism, your whole family will turn white when you get to heaven." My father promptly slammed the door on them.
Oh, my God.
As well he should.
Yeah.
She says, is this something the LDS Church believes, that you lose your blackness when you go to the terrestrial kingdom or whatever? Well, that's the story. Love the show. Anyway, not really anymore.
Not anymore.
They've backed off of it, but that was a belief.
But boy, they have a hard time making that really work now, don't they? Because it clearly, there's still is that, we were just talking about this actually. There still is the idea that with righteousness, new converts to the church who aren't already white, will get whiter with time.
I think that's gone now.
I think it still has to be.
I'm sure it lurks.
It percolates. It's just bubbling under the surface. It's there.
You don't
it's
get
not
rid
completely gone. Right?
You don't get rid of an idea like that, with an essay on one of your websites.
Right. And there's definitely, I still think that the idea that dark skin is a sign of some sort of curse that's holding over from the pre-existence.
Yeah.
That's still there.
It's still there.
If you ask a Mormon point blank, they're going to have a hard time denying that that's still there.
Because both in the Bible and the Book of Mormon, there are stories of people being cursed and their skin turning dark.
Exactly. And so and they bought into it hook, line, and sinker.
Absolutely.
And kind of went a little further than most with it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, clearly, I think if cornered, most Mormons would be like, no. You'll be the perfected version of you today.
Right, but I think in the back of their mind, that perfection includes white skin.
Clearly it's white.
You're white. You'll be white. Don't worry. Be
Without
good.
a doubt it's white.
Don't just don't act like one of those heathen dark people.
And you'll notice with time, if you don't act like a heathen, you'll stop looking like a heathen.
You'll stop looking quite so gross.
So heathenly.
Heathenish with that horrible dark skin of yours. It's just such a shame.
Yeah.
Jamie wrote in as well. I can't read the whole thing, but Jamie says, I was born and raised in Alabama to a Southern Baptist minister. I accepted Christ during the satanic panic of the 80s at a conference where I learned that the music I was listening to made me an instrument of Satan.
Dear
and
God.
Scared me to Jesus.
I bet there were some records played backwards.
Oh, yeah. I was the nuisance evangelical Christian child in school who always responded to any compliment with, "It's not me, it's God. I'm so blessed."
Oh, my God.
I went to school to be a minister, have a degree in religion, and was on staff at a very conservative church.
Okay.
He says a long story on the 10-year journey from that to atheism, but that's for a different day. He goes on to say what he's writing in about is the fact that we've done now 2 stories about Alabama Supreme Court Justice Roy Moore, who is a peach of a fella. Just loves the Christians and believes that this country was made just for them. Believes that with all of his heart. As a matter of fact, he's pretty open about it. He says, when I was in school, I was the type who wanted to charge hell with a water pistol. I was the guy who wrote letters to the president of the university recommending we expel the homosexuals in the theater department and ban smoking on campus. Yeah, that guy. He says, yeah, that guy. One of my heroes was Alabama Supreme Court Justice Roy Moore. During the night, he personally paid to have a 5,000-pound monument of the Ten Commandments placed in the rotunda of the courthouse. This resulted in much controversy and ultimately a federal judge ruling that he was in violation of the law. I remember all of this happening. Roy Moore thumbed his nose at the ruling and kept it in the courthouse. I was one of the marchers on the Capitol in Alabama in support of Roy Moore. When we marched 7 times around the Capitol Square, praying and singing and blowing the shofar. That's amazing. When the federal judge levied a $5,000 a day fine for every day the monument remained in the building, religious donations poured in to cover the cost.
Oh, my God.
Ultimately, a state judiciary panel on ethics had Roy Moore removed from office. During the panel hearing, he remarked, "Judiciary panel on ethics? Without the Ten Commandments, there are no ethics." Yeah, wow, that sounds like him.
Wow.
Anyway, after removal, he hit the circuit and visited my church in Mobile a few times. The religious folks in the state always held him up as a hero for making a stand for what was right. 10 years after removal, he ran for Supreme Court Justice again and won, as you know, because he's still in that position.
Right.
Oh, he says, in writing this, I look back at that little Christian kid and what we actually stood for and supported, and it's shameful. Roy Moore and millions of Southerners still believe the same as I did 15 years ago, and that's frightening. As for myself, I can reflect on this and just thank God I'm an atheist.
No.
He actually worded it. I added the "and." He said our thing. He said, just thank God I'm atheist. Ta-da! So, hooray to you, Jamie, for getting out.
Congratulations.
It's quite a story.
Harrowing.
Next time we're in Alabama. Oh no, he's not in Alabama anymore. Now he's in. He's made it out. Now he's in the liberal echo chamber bubble in Worcester, Massachusetts. He says.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's a change.
Yeah. Well, you and I we'll have to compare stories of Alabama at some point, Jamie. if we make it to Worcester, we expect to have a beer with you. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, if you have anything that you wish to write into us, you may do so.
The email address is podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Yeah, or you can
leave us a voicemail.
Leave us a voicemail. Thank you.
At 424-666-8442.
Now, if you do that, just so you know, if your goal is to get your voicemail on the air, what we ask is that you be concise, that you have a specific comment or question that you want us to address.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're not concise and stuff, we may not be able to play it.
Yeah.
Nothing personal.
We don't mind the compliments.
No.
We've had a few lately that were people just calling in to give us a compliment.
Right.
And we totally love that.
Yep.
But if you're looking to get it on the show, ask a question.
Yep.
All right. And you can also visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/TGIAtheist. And our website is up and running at thankgodimatheist.com, where you can find recent episodes of the show and you can comment on them. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Dan and I are trying our danged hardest to become bloggers.
Yeah, we'll get on that like right away.
And you can find merchandise there as well, T-shirts at least.
Yeah,
and you can subscribe to become a donor.
You can donate to the show. Help take some of the load.
Yeah,
it's a nice thing that you can do. We do offer this show for free to anyone, but if you want to chip in, there is a way to
do that on our website. So we're going to take a quick patty break. And then we're going to come back and we'll get into the second half of the show, and it's all based on this little clip that we're about to hear. And that's why we did all this stuff before the break, for those of you who are used to it being the other way around.
Right.
So we'll be back in just a few minutes.
I love the show and watch daily. I have heard arguments from both sides of whether our Earth is 6,000 years old or billions of years old. And I know you support the old Earth position. My question to you is, how can we conceive that there were millions of years between Adam and Noah, and millions of years between Noah and Abraham, and more millions between Abraham and Moses and King David and Daniel and the Apostle Paul? And now, 2,000 years later, here we are. Please explain.
I think you're setting up a premise that's inaccurate. I appreciate the fact that you're trying to grapple with it. And this old Earth, new Earth, the truth is, you have to be deaf, dumb, and blind to think that this Earth that we live in only has 6,000 years of existence. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. I've got some interest in oil, and you're now drilling in the Jurassic zone 65 million years ago. When those dinosaurs were here, they were rotting in the earth and making oil. And there's no question about it. There's no question that there were dinosaurs, and no question that radiocarbon dating, there were 65 million. There's no question that some of the other things were much older than that, and we have so many geological records. Now, the question is, if you look at a day, day 1, day 2, day 3, what is a day? Well, a day is how long it takes the Earth to revolve on its axis. But what about a solar day? Well, that would be how long it would take the sun to travel around the galaxy we're in. Well, what about a galactic day? That could be how long it takes a galaxy to transverse the universe. And so now you're talking about billions of years. You don't know how long it is. So day 1, day 2, and day 3, it's all accommodated if you look at it that way. But the idea is that you first have Adam, and then you've got a billion years, and then you get Noah or something. That's nonsense. I think what we're looking at is that there was a point of time after the Earth was created, after these things were done, after the universe was formed, after the asteroid hit the Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs, after all that, there was a point of time that there's a particular human being that God touched. And that was the human that started the race that we are now part of. And I think prior to that, who knows what was here. But we haven't worked all the wrinkles out, but I think to deny the clear record that's there before us makes us look silly. And you got the old Earth, new Earth. There's no way that all this that you have here took place in 6,000 years. It just couldn't have been done. Couldn't possibly have been done.
Couldn't have been done.
Well, it's always interesting when I agree with Pat Roberts.
You gotta love those moments. I love it.
I mean, not the whole like fitting in, how, the where Adam happened in the whole thing,
Right.
Like that part. Clearly, I don't have to like agree with him on.
Well, I
but
love
like,
that-
I love that he's like, hey, listen, the oil came from somewhere,
Right. My oil.
Right. The oil that I own stock in.
Right.
Believe me, I'm making money off this shit. And
I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This stuff's making me rich, people.
You guys did a pretty good job getting this whole thing started, but I used the money wisely.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
I think that there's something I love that the question asker, the original question, assumed that because science tells us that the Earth is millions of years old, she assumes that it still starts in Genesis, so all those millions have to be sort of squoze into the gaps in the Bible.
It's really. It's just sometimes you wonder where people were when a lot of this stuff was getting explained to them for the first time.
I know, right? And who's doing the explaining?
Yeah, because it's like, you really missed some important details here.
Yeah.
Like your brain clearly doesn't think things through very well. Deaf, dumb, and
blind.
And blind.
I love that. Well, I mean, I don't think he's thinking that through, because you can be dumb and still not, and you can be without
Speech.
the ability to speak and still believe this stuff. But But the deaf and blind thing is interesting. Anyway, I'll tell you who doesn't agree with him.
Who?
One Mr. Ken Ham.
Oh, that guy.
He is furious with Pat Robertson.
That he would dare say such a thing?
That he would say any of this stuff.
Oh, my God. Okay.
He feels mocked, I think. He says, I wonder if Pat Robertson would be prepared to discuss these issues with me or one of our AIG scientists. AIG stands for Answers in Genesis. Scientists, in this case, does not mean scientists. It means whatever they think it means. On the 700 Club, or maybe in some sort of debate format at Regent University. We are certainly willing to do that. Maybe all of you reading this could challenge CBN and Regent University to allow such a discussions, debate, or forum to occur publicly. I wonder if Pat Robertson, who is allowed to state these things so publicly through CBN, will agree to have his statements publicly challenged and tested.
Oh, my God.
Oh, there's blood in the water.
Oh, my God.
This guy, you know, he was the guy that debated with Bill Nye, the science guy.
Just mop the floor with Bill Nye.
Well, I don't know that we can say that. But he declares victory for sure. He loves a good debate.
Oh, he loves them.
But how interesting that he wants
He's so
one.
informed.
Well, he knows his positions pretty
He does
well.
know his position.
I would. That's it. It's so fascinating though that he's now going after other Christians.
Well, he's rooting it out. He's saying this is the way to be Christian.
The only way to be
This
Christian.
is the only way to be Christian. This is, and to be honest, in a lot of ways, this is the only way to be Republican. By the way,
Oh, wow.
have you noticed that little trend too?
What? That there's
Just sort of the anti-science
right.
bent of the Republican Party,
Right.
Clearly, but anyways, we don't want to get into the politics of the whole thing. But
No,
anyways,
I
yeah.
think the thing about Ken Ham is that he's one of these guys. So his position is that, and this is sort of the main position of the young Earth creationists, which is that if it's not in the Bible, if you don't start from the Bible for all of your beliefs, including science, then you're wrong. Everything has to start, which is silly because like the Bible only covers a very little amount of stuff.
I want these people to just do life from the Bible. Please, just only do things that are mentioned in the Bible. Period. That's all you're allowed to do with your life.
My Bible doesn't talk about internet. You don't get no internet.
Pasteurized milk? Bullshit.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no telephone for you.
Yeah.
Where is that in the Bible?
No.
It's not in there. Get off the phone, Ken Ham.
Yeah, no kidding. Ham.
He said, when someone says to me, "Oh, so you're one of those fundamentalist young Earth creationists?" I reply, "Actually, I'm a revelationist, no death before Adam redemptionist." And then he put in parentheses, which means I'm a young Earth creationist.
Oh, he's so. Oh, he's clever.
Yeah, see, he
He
admits
has a
it.
sense of humor.
But it's richer than that. It's not about being young Earth. It's about acknowledging that the Bible's the only source of anything worthwhile at all.
It's really, and it's so critical that there was no death before Adam.
Well, it's very critical. Right.
You know,
Adam's sin
that introduced death
is what
into the world.
introduced death into the world. So how can you possibly have billions of years where nothing died? And we're claiming that all these dinosaurs died millions of years ago? Impossible.
Hello.
Read-
Clearly, do you understand what I'm saying here?
Have you even read the Bible? Because it's very clear.
Yeah.
So what was interesting, Pat Robertson got hung up on the word day. Gave us that big, beautiful explanation about what day could mean.
Day could mean any number of things.
Sure. Well,
The Earth,
the Answers in Genesis people are very adamant. A day is a 24-hour day.
Period.
Earth day.
An Earth day.
That's all it is. Because, and their because they don't really have a because, but they'll question anyone who questions that by saying, well, why can't we question the word day in other parts of the Bible?
Well, the problem with making a day longer than it just being a day
Uh-huh.
is that flowers, for example, plants, showed up on day 3 of creation.
Sure.
And the sun didn't show up until day 4. And so, here's the deal, Dan.
Yeah.
Like, those plants would be just fine waiting, 24 hours to get some sunlight, right?
Right.
They are not going to survive a day that is thousands or perhaps millions of years old.
Those flowers
are going to die because, hello, photosynthesis, Dan.
Right. No
Dan,
sun. There's no sun.
I mean, I rest my case with that one. I mean, come on,
Come on, people.
Jesus, I mean, geez, you got to think this through, Dan.
Now, that does bring up an interesting other question, which is, without the sun, how were their days? I mean, a day is it's just. Wait a minute,
no, Dan.
Wait a minute.
The day is 24 hours, Dan.
It's just, but how,
Dan,
yeah.
day is 24 hours. That's it. That's what a day is. God made the day cycle, the light cycle match the length of a day because it's 24 hours.
Right,
Dan.
right. That's what happened. That's clearly what happened. I'm on Ken Ham's site. I'm on the Answers in Genesis site, and he's got a whole essay about. It's not about the real issue. Isn't the young Earth thing? The real issue is: do you believe in the Bible or don't you?
Don't. I don't.
Well, question.
Oh, that's the problem then, Mr. Ham.
Right, exactly. Question: why would any Christian want to take man's fallible dating methods and use them to impose an idea on the infallible Word of God?
Man does have. I mean, people. That's the problem. That's the high rate of divorce right now. Is man's, dating problems.
Yeah. If you would just date God, everything would be fine.
It sat there too long.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I'm sorry.
Anyway. Infallible Word of God. Christians who accept billions of years are in essence saying that man's word is infallible.
No,
but
no.
God's word is infallible.
No. Clearly, science. That's the amazing thing about scientists is that they are the first to admit that man's word is fallible.
Right. They're the first ones.
They're the first ones to say that science is a process that gets us to
conclusions that are as reliable as we can get.
Absolutely.
Right.
Like, no, Mr. Ham, you're the one who
is certain.
Who is, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny.
Based on your own understanding of something.
If you want to see...
You're using how this document that you hold up so high, how is it that so many people are able to read it and come up with so many different conclusions about how they're supposed to live their lives?
Right.
Or about just the cosmology itself.
I got news for you, Frank. He's just as baffled by that as we are.
Because clearly he has it right. Why don't more people see it my way?
It is figured out. It is already... The work is done.
Yeah,
it's figured out.
And
so
because people like James Ussher figured it out a long time ago.
Well, he's the one that everyone points to for our 6,000 year figure.
Yeah.
Do you want to go into that a little bit? Just explain where that figure comes from?
Yeah, okay.
Just briefly.
Okay, so there are... where was it? Okay, so I actually found this kind of interesting, and I hope you guys do too. He basically, when he looked at the Bible...
Talk about when is he?
Okay. Oh, yeah. So
who he is.
He was born in 1580 something and died in 16 somethings, mid 1600s.
Right.
And he was the Archbishop of Armagh in the Church of Ireland.
Right.
He was, doing there was a big question in his day of like, how old is the earth? And people have been trying to figure that out for a long time. Well, fortunately, he had this wonderful document, the Bible, that he felt that he could go to. And so he was saying nothing this actually wasn't even that new. A lot of people were looking back and came up with different sort of dates that would, for how old the earth was.
Right.
And so 3 3000 or 3761 BC was one of the dates. 3952 BC. Sir Isaac Newton actually chimed in with 4000 BC.
Oh, okay.
And Ussher clearly must have really liked that methodology, but he adjusted it, and he came up with 4004 BC. But he had his method, right? And so he looked at the Bible, and sort of there's 3 periods in the Bible that you have to sort of tackle differently in order to figure out how much time had passed.
Sure.
In the telling. So in the early times, that's creation to Solomon. This is probably the easiest period to figure out sort of a length of time that would have passed.
Sure.
There's not a lot of controversy here because the Bible has all these begats and begats and begats, right? The lineage of Adam through Solomon has people's ages all attached to it. And so, great. It was fairly easy.
Right.
There's a little bit of, disagreement as to whatever. But Ussher just simply, he looked at the Hebrew Bible and he just kind of stopped with that. He was like, okay, the Hebrew Bible, that's what I'm going to use. That's what I trust the most.
Right.
And so he came up with a certain amount of time that would have passed from Adam to Solomon.
Sure.
And then you have the early age of kings, and this is Solomon to the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem.
Right.
And the Babylonian captivity. And the lineage breaks down at this point, but he was able to cross-reference the biblical records with known dates of other people and rulers to create a timeline.
Yeah.
Okay? And then he has
he did go outside of the Bible to create his timeline.
In that one, there was a little bit of going outside. And then the third sort of period of time that he was looking at, which is the late age of kings, which is Ezra and Nehemiah to the birth of Jesus. Okay. And there is no information provided in the Bible, really, that you can really work with here. And so they looked at other cultures to figure out sort of the passage of time here. Such as the Chaldeans, the Persians, the Romans. And so they were able to look at the death of the Chaldean king Nebuchadnezzar II, who conquered Jerusalem in 586 BC. And that could be correlated with the 37th year of the exile of Jehoiachin in 2 Kings 25:27. So he was able to he took that and he adjusted the creation date to about so he came up with an unadjusted creation date of about 4000 BC, just like Sir Isaac Newton. But he moved it back to 4004 BC to account for an error in the sort of Anno Domini numbering system, which indicated that the death of Herod occurred in 4 BC. And Jesus could not. Because of anyways, so he adjusted it for that, and because Jesus obviously had to have been born when Herod was still alive.
Exactly.
So that he shifted it there. So with all that being said,
exactly 4,000 years.
4004.
4,004 years
BC.
BC.
And the reason this became really sort of the famous chronology of the whole thing was because it was the one that was put into the King James translation of the Bible.
Right.
And
for the longest time, not just every King James Bible had this chronology attached to it.
So it's the one that became basically universally accepted as the trustworthy one, when it was no more trustworthy than any of the other people who were doing the similar work at the same time.
But it was still
dates.
It was still as good a scholarship as anyone had.
Absolutely.
At the time.
Yeah, he used what was available to him.
Yeah.
And so.
But all of that tends to fall apart when you're drilling for oil in the Jurassic Zone. And
we're talking about 65 million years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I mean, these are just people just desperately making science not work.
Well, and it's and the whole thing about I loved the explanation of sort of this, light traveling at the speed of light.
Right. As it is wont to do.
As it does. And on Cosmos, right? And he has the Earth, and then there's a little sphere that gets drawn around the Earth that is sort of the 6,000 light year
Right.
You know, and so like if the universe is only 6,000 years old, this is all of the universe that we'd be able to see. Beyond that, we wouldn't be able to see.
Right.
And so, of course, you know, like you have these new Earth, you know, people or young Earth people who are saying, you know, well, the light's just put there in situ. You know, God put all the photons in place
And then said, go. Well,
which is just
it's so funny to me because
why?
some of this is so Earth-centric. Some of this is so like people can't think past. I mean, a lot of the problem is that people can't think past their own existence. So the idea that, I mean, even if I were a young Earth creationist, I could still refute that comment by saying, well, God created the rest of the universe before. And Genesis just talks about the creation of Earth. It doesn't.
But it talks about the heavens and it talks about like it's
Earth's heavens.
You
But
could-
no,
you could do that.
no, it does say the stars. It says the firmament and the stars. Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So,
Yeah,
right.
That's all there, Dan.
So, yes, he put the
you
stars.
you, Dan, would make a bad Earth. Young
Well,
Earth.
It only took me 30
Creationists
seconds
or
to get over that argument. I think anyone who is a young Earth creationist is a bad young Earth creationist because in the end, it just doesn't hold up.
I mean, clearly doesn't, and they're in their death throes. But
Right. Well, watch for the Ken Ham Patty Smackdown.
this must be the must-see TV event.
Oh, I hope it happens.
Of the century.
I don't think it'll happen. I don't think Robertson will agree to it, but I want it to happen.
Robertson's too much of a curmudgeon to
He's
be bothered with a debate.
Well, yeah, he's got his own show. He doesn't need
Why would he do
any controversial positions on his show. He can just
need it.
He just gets to pontificate.
Yeah.
But if it does happen, I will be so happy. I might be tempted to fly out and be in the audience. I don't care. It sounds
Just to be able to
great.
shake Pat Robertson's hand afterwards.
Sure. Hey, Pat. Yeah, literally. If I thought I could do that,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah. Hey,
I will buy you a drink, Pat Robertson. What is your
throw in
poison?
a hooker and you got a deal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you have anything you need to say about how old or young the Earth is, you can write into us, podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
Or visit our website, thankgodimatheist.com.
Now, I'm going to just throw this out there. This is a thing.
What?
So pay attention, everybody. I know that you've stopped paying attention because we acted like the show was over, but there's this thing.
What thing?
We're looking for a producer.
Oh, yeah.
It can be done from a distance. It doesn't have to be someone local to us.
Absolutely.
What we're looking for is someone to. The main duties would include just coordinating interviews for us.
We're looking to expand our offerings as far as the second half of the show is concerned.
Yeah.
So we're looking to fit in some interviews. We've done some that we've collected up ourselves, and
We can do more if we have help.
we could make it work if we had a little bit of help. So if you're interested, please email us. You can just email to podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Send us a resume. Send us a cover letter. Tell us
Yeah.
what experience you have, if any. And but I mean, we're not looking to ask too much of you. It's literally just getting these things set up. But experience is nice if you have it.
Yeah.
If you don't,
Or dedication is what's
dedication is key. Anyway, if you're interested in that, podcast at thankgodimatheist.com. Send us some stuff about you, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, no, as always, we like to thank Mackenzie for all of her fantastic help with the Facebook page.
She's amazing. And thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the music.
Absolutely. And, go check out the Facebook page and check out that Pam and Gay Ghost online fundraiser.
Yep.
We're using Kickstarter, by the way, for that, so you can find us on Kickstarter as well. So thanks a lot for listening, everybody, and have a wonderful week.
Bye, guys.